What's going on YouTube? It is Trev. Okay, I guess this is long overdue. I've been trying to get out this kind of update video after the meeting that we had this morning, which was just basically kind of an update meeting, updating everybody on where they were on the backlog. A few little things that were discussed. It was really nothing major, but some things were still a little up in the air, and so we had some further conversations to try to clarify some things, and a lot of stuff is not that easily clarified. So it's all a work in progress. But let me take you to something. Let me see. Give me a second. Nope, not that. This. Right. All right. So here is the Classic Terra. This is the GitHub. Now, all of this stuff is available to the public, right? I think Tobias posts all these things all the time for everyone to go in and kind of have a look at what the team is doing. But you can also comment on some of the conversations and stuff that are being had about these different developments and the way that they go. It's almost an agora, but it's a little more technical because these are the things that are actually being worked on, and so you can have your input on again everything on the list here. Right now, this has changed even since this morning, because this morning, so everything on the backlog was cleared this morning. These are things during onboarding week that were completed. Right. You've got the backlog list here. This morning there was nothing in there, but if I remember correctly, there was one thing in the ready column, and there was like maybe 3 or 4 things in the in process column. That was early this morning. So as they move things to different phases, they just move them into these different columns. So as you can see, we are, what is today, like the 19th or something like that of January, right? We're not even all the way through the first third of the quarter, and everything on the list that was submitted, during in the proposal, right, and even some things maybe that are even extra, have all moved into a phase of either they're in review or they're done, right? So this brings up the question of if the team finishes early, everything that was on the list, what is left? Okay, what do they do then? And that's when they start talking about out of scope work. Some additional things that would be beneficial to the chain, beneficial to the community. And the idea in the conversation was that if everything gets completed, right, and the whole backlog is done, then these are things that we think would benefit, again, the chain. And we're going to present these to the community. So I believe the way it's going to go is that maybe some options and some different things would be presented to the community. They will say what it is, what it would do for everybody, why they think that it should get done. And then, we may have some voting to do on what it is that in additional that we want this team to work on. But Tobias said something this morning that, it just rung in my ears. It's like 2/3 of the work that was in the proposal has already been done, and we're not 1/3 of the way through. So these guys, no doubt, have been working their butts off, or the work that there was to do seemed a lot more difficult to us than it really was. I don't know, right? But anyway, yeah. So some of the things feature WASM upgrade. Is in review. Constrained pool to ensure LUNC can never have more than 2 trillion supply is something that they're looking at. And again, you can click on any of these things and kind of go into the discussion, right? Is a summary of changes, the housekeeping for admin, and these are some of the things that have been talked about and done. And then, there are these sections down here where you can kind of leave your own comments, right? So if I wanted to, I could leave a comment, ask a question, whatever. So you can get into this stuff and really take part in what's kind of going on here. What did I do? Oh, I opened up a whole new. That's what that does. Is it opens up a whole new window. So the things that have been done, there's 24 things that are completed and done already. set TM DB, Badger DB. A lot of you have no idea what this stuff is. I don't know what some of this stuff is. But for those of you who know what this stuff is, you can see that it's all been completed. If you don't know what any of this stuff is, you can clearly see that a lot of crap has been done. So that's a good thing. This one thing here to the right in the abandoned column, the reason that this was abandoned is they said that once Interchain went online, it fixed this problem. So they didn't need to worry about it anymore. And that's why that particular thing was abandoned. And I guess that's just the column that they put it in instead of just deleting it altogether. It's just, again, to keep a log of everything that's happened. All right. Okay, so one of the things in the done column, let me see if I can find it, is referring to the upgrade to version. Let me see. Where is it? I probably passed right by it. I must have passed right by it, right? My eyes, it's just the way they are. But anyway, if you go to, let me bring you over to the proposal 11.3.10. This has been up now for a couple of days, and it is talking about the upgrade to version 1.0.5. And that's one of the things that you'll find on that completed list, putting this proposal up. So as you can see, it's 99.99% yes so far. There's a 0.01% no, whatever. It is what it is. It hasn't reached quorum yet, but it's got 5 days to go. I think looking at this, I think we can clearly see what it's on its way heading to. And there's been conversation about, has this team built up such a reputation that anything that they put forward is just going to pass overwhelmingly? There might be part of that, right? And I would say that Zaradar and Ed, for much of the community, have earned the reputation that they have. They've earned the trust. We saw similar numbers for the proposal for the task force to even be funded. I mean, it was overwhelming. It was pretty darn close to 100%. So it could be some of that, people just voting yes because it came from Ed and that's it, anything that they want to do, right? And there's something to be said for that, because if we're letting them kind of dictate a path to keep us on a straight path and not running around in circles like we did, we kind of have to trust in the things maybe that they put forward. But even Tobias says it, right? Trust but verify. So I would say that it's not necessarily a great thing, even with these guys, to say, well, it's Ed, it's Tobias, it's the L1 task force, right? And, we trust them, so we're just going to vote everything through. I still say, go to Agora, read up on the proposals, right, in the totality. Look through all the comments that come after it, and you'll see all the arguments for, the arguments against. You'll see points maybe that you wouldn't have thought of, okay? Educate yourselves on these proposals. It's impressive to see a 99.99% yes rate, but I would almost rather see lower numbers. I would almost rather see that at 75% and 25% no, because that would be indicative to me of people who actually have researched this, have done their DD, and have a difference of opinion, right? That it's not just going through because it's these guys, right? I really, really feel like everybody should educate themselves. That means sometimes it does mean listening to the various, I hate the word, but influencers or YouTubers or Twitter guys or whatever, but don't just listen to one and get one perspective. Listen to everybody. Form your own perspective and then vote. Voting is great. Taking part in the governance is great. We should all be doing it, but do it in an educated way. I'm not 100% happy about seeing such unbelievable numbers going through, because that's what I think to myself. I think maybe people aren't really coming up with their own ideas. It's possible that everybody came up with their own ideas and their own idea was yes, right? That's possible. I just maybe I find it a little unlikely, right? So anyway, so some of the other things that we talked about, and I actually made some notes here, so let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. They talked about the COSM WASM upgrade from version 0.16.6 to version 1.1.1. And they had, I tried to get this graphic for you, but there's no link for it yet, right? It was something that they showed us where they had 4 different scenarios, and they're trying to figure out the best scenario to go with as far as this upgrade went. That, from what I understand, that graphic and some more information about that is going to be released in a Medium article put out by Lunkburn Army, and I think that's imminent. I think that's soon. I would imagine he's probably already started working on it. It might be out as early as today. I'm not positive, but look for it. As soon as he releases it, I'm sure he'll tweet it out. I'll retweet it, so watch on Twitter for that kind of thing. And after that, something that's kind of big on everybody's mind is this vacancy, this job opening, right? Where there were or are, as the team puts it, 3 pillars to the COC, to the Community Oversight Committee. One being the community advocate kind of position, which I guess is the position that they kind of put me in. There is the developer oversight, which Strathcole is doing masterfully. I mean, he was really getting in there today in this meeting and talking up all the tech stuff with these guys and coming up with some ideas that, that maybe they hadn't thought of. And, it's phenomenal to watch, right? And the other pillar is this validator pillar. And that, again, all 3 of the pillars really have to do with making sure that things are on the up and up and happening for the community and to push the chain forward, and there aren't any personal agendas going on or whatever, right? But the validator position is from the validator perspective, okay? And to make sure that things are going well for validators, for for delegators, for the governance aspect of it. So that position is open. And I said this in a previous video. If you have some intimate knowledge of validators and how that works, right, and you feel that you could provide good oversight in that capacity, okay, and that you'd be able to relay that information to the other validators and keep the community kind of abreast of what's happening, then you should throw your hat in the ring, right? And what that means is just contacting Lunkburn Army, right, and let them know, hey, I think I'd be good for this position, and have whatever chat with him about it. But right now, I guess that's the step to take right now. That's what to do. Let them know that you're interested in it. Maybe I'm extrapolating myself when I talk about, are you someone who really understands like the validator and all that stuff? But I think that's maybe common sense. If we're trying to fill these 3 pillars, then you should have some knowledge of that. But anyway, that's that. All right. Last thing that we talked about, not in the meeting, but I talked about after that in another little powwow that I had, was getting the information out to you guys. All right. Now they are doing, they're slated to do 1, maybe 2 AMAs a month on Twitter Space, right? And this Sunday we'll be doing kind of a roundtable thing on YouTube, right, live here on this channel. I'm not positive if Strathcole is going to be able to make it. I know we had some previous engagements. He's going to try to make it, but we're going to get as much of the rest of the team there as we can. And I will be taking as many questions as I can possibly find in the chat and submitting it to these guys. Because I just had like a 2.5 hour conversation with Tobias. I don't want to spend time rehashing that kind of stuff. I asked a lot of questions. The community asked some questions. But here's an opportunity to really jump in and ask some questions. Now, if you can't be there live for it, and it's going to be like 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, put your questions either here in this chat or, tag me on Twitter, right? I even put out a tweet asking what people's questions might be. Get the questions to me somehow, and I will try my best to get as many. I can't ask them 100 questions, right? Because I'll ask one question and then it's a 10-minute dissertation answering that question. So, but I will try to get as many of them in as I can. I really will. But if you can make it live, that's even better, right? So you can really listen and really engage. So we're going to be doing that. I'm asking them if maybe once a month we can do that. We can do like a round table and get the whole team there, the COC, the task force, get everybody together and do that, right? One other thing that we've been talking about, and I think this is crucial, I think this is essential, is that we need other perspectives. I mean, this absolutely should not be the DJ Trev show, right? Whatever blessings came upon me to ask me to be on this committee, I appreciate, but by no means should it be all my perspective and all my opinions and me getting all this information all the time. It shouldn't be that. We've got some really, really good YouTubers with perspectives and questions that I never would have thought of, right? I come at it from certain angles that other people wouldn't come at. They come at it from angles that maybe I wouldn't have come at it from. So what we're talking about, and what I think we're going to move forward with, is maybe once a week, and I don't know what day he's going to choose, but for Lunkburn Army to make himself available to the other YouTubers, right? And set up some sort of schedule, some sort of rotating schedule where, he's going to be doing AMAs with everybody. We're going to share the knowledge here, get it out to everybody. It's all about getting the information out to the community. And there are certain guys that, or certain community members that follow this guy and certain community members that follow that guy. And we want to get the information to everybody. So that means that everybody should be engaged in this, right? So moving forward, that's what's going to happen. The idea came up of maybe doing it because if you do one this week, one next week, what if you're the guy who doesn't get one for like a month from now, right? So we threw around kind of the idea of doing like a roundtable thing with just a bunch of YouTube people all in there with Lumber Army asking questions. I don't know exactly how that would play out, right? Maybe it's something we'll try one time. I don't know, right? I'm not sure. But again, the main idea here is trying to figure out a way to get the information out and to share it with everybody, give everybody an equal shot at getting this information to their communities, right? Because everybody's communities all together make up the one big larger community, and that's really what it should all be about. Okay, that's it. Short kind of update. Leave comments, questions in the chat, right? If you have any comments about anything, that's fine. I'm not always right. I have no problem being argued with. I have tough skin, so if you want to tell me I'm an idiot, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do, right? But if you have any questions that you want me to move forward into that roundtable on Sunday, put them in the chat. Like I said, Twitter, whatever you want to do. If you could, for me, just hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, and we'll continue to get these little updates out to you as best we can. Okay, but listen, all the other guys too, and I'm not going to name names, but you know who everybody else is. Everybody's putting out information on this stuff. Don't get it from one source, because now you're, becoming part of an echo chamber. Educate yourself and hear everybody's different perspective. That's what's important, and that's how we grow as a community. All right, enough of me ranting. I will chat with y'all later. Where's my little cursor? Here it is. All right, talk to y'all later. Ciao.